Good morning.
Morning. Good
How are
afternoon.
you?
Fine.
Yes, for
Hello.
sure.
You talking to me or what? Who are you talking to?
I'm talking to you.
Oh, all right.
Who else would I be talking to?
I'm still finishing up my futures newsletter. I'm listening in, but I'm here,
Cool.
sort of.
Good
Thanks.
morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
No,
Good morning.
no, no, I can't hear you.
Okay. Turn up the mic.
How are you?
Me?
Yes.
Tired.
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 Rest is for the weary, brother.
I know. Rest when you die.
That's it. That is it.
Hello, Mr. Goofy. I don't believe we've met. I'm Mark McSee.
We've met. I changed my name.
Who are you?
Fred.
Oh, okay.
I've been
Oh,
a
hey.
member for August of 2022, something like that. Way, way back when.
Okay. Well, when you change your name, you confuse me. That's all.
Oh, my name used to show up all the time, and one day you guys were talking about we should change our names. So I like Goofy.
There you go.
Cool beans,
Eh,
man. So we're just doing a
Yeah.
watch party, just kind of hanging out and giving a shout out to Coach. Welcome to American Dream Trading's The Aftermarket Live Watch Party on this glorious Saturday afternoon. Shout out to David Yanis. He just had an amazing masterclass as usual. I still didn't get to
Yep.
finish putting my car battery in. I the one damn screw on the negative side, just I can't seem to get that damn terminal screw off of there. It's loose as hell, but I can't get it all the way off the end. So I'll just go back to that
Take
one
a
more
take
time.
a take a little screwdriver and a little tiny hammer or whatever, and stick
Uh
your
huh.
screwdriver in that little gap goes that's on that terminal. When you
Yeah.
tap down on it lightly, it'll spread that out a little bit, and that'll pop right off.
Okay.
If you already got the bolt partially loose,
Yeah, it's way loose. Okay, cool. Thanks, Mark. Um,
if that don't work, you can pry up underneath of it a little bit. But you got to be careful, you don't crack the plastic on your battery.
yeah. Okay. Cool beans, man.
Just don't grab it with you. Don't grab it.
I was gonna
Yeah.
do that next. That was next. So one of the reasons I decided to do this today, not only just just because I want to watch these videos again, but the media team that's being put together with Nick and Ed Tech and Kenny and Chad and all those guys, headed up by Miranda and Arlo and Bruno. We're trying to, like, I've chipped in some ideas. Everybody has come up with a lot of ideas, but these guys are killing it. They are these thumbnails, these videos. They do a lot for people if they just take the time to watch them and put a
Mm-hmm.
comment on them. So
Mm-hmm.
if people can't watch on their own or they don't have time to pull it up, that's why we're pulling it up for you today so we can sit here and watch them with you. If you have any questions about some stuff that you might not understand, I'm here. Mark McSee is also here for a little bit, and I'm only going to do this today for about an hour. We're not going to be here long, but just to get some watch time in. So welcome to the watch party. Again, don't forget to smash that like button. We are trying to get Coach to 15,000 subscribers. So, and right now we're sitting right around 13,496. That is from yesterday. Hold on one second. I didn't update it for today. Let me see what we got going on. See if it's past that. Yeah, nope, same number. So, let's get Coach. Oh, actually it is not. It's 13,516. Haha. Cool. So, well, that'll be changed. Um, don't forget to go to AmericanDreamTrading.com. We got the .com guy here
.com.
himself
.com.
to get signed up for a membership. So, and that link has been pinned to the top of the live chat. So, without further ado, let's get into some stuff. This first video, let me go ahead and take that down. Let me go ahead and share my screen here.
May I ask one question on that?
All right, so the first video, and shout out to whoever did the thumbnail, might be Ed Tech. I think it might be Ed Tech. Stop losing trades, right?
Was that Rich? Was that Richard?
It was.
Wow.
Yeah, that was when Richard was, I think, in the thick of his cold or whatever he had going on last week or earlier this week. So let's take a quick look at Stop Losing Trades. I think it was, there we go. Get it full screen. There we go. All right, welcome to the show. Let's get our watch on, get our learn on, get
Let's
our
go.
do it.
May I ask one question on that Tesla trade, please?
Yes, go ahead.
So I did a straddle.
Before we go into that, I want to show you guys something. No matter how late you were on this, you would have made money no matter what. If you followed what I say, it would have never, ever, ever mattered where you finally killed your calls, right?
I guess I'm not really sure when to close the other
As
side
soon
that
as it
isn't
gives you
working.
confirmation, let's say this was a straddle. I'm going to draw my line right here where it would break. So this is my straddle. These are my calls, right? These are my puts. As soon as confirmation, right, gives you anything showing to kill the other side, we want to do it because it ran down to here. So you could have killed it anywhere all day, and then whatever was left, you would have made the money. Make sense? Now, typically, it isn't, set up real nice like that, unless you're, of course, waiting for that setup. We knew once it broke trend, that was going to be the direction it wanted to go. That would have been the moment we would have killed it. Again, typically
You
we
guys
don't
can
have
hear
that,
it,
so we
right?
would have been looking for, a major level of support or resistance, or as soon as it broke below VWAP.
Yeah.
We know if it's under VWAP, you don't want to be in calls under VWAP, everybody in the room, right?
Right.
Wasn't this the perfect storm?
Absolutely, coach.
Right.
Yes, sir.
So that's why we would have killed it. But again, no matter what time you would have done it, all the way to the damn bell, you would have made money no matter what on that straddle all day long. If you bought it here and you killed your call down here or here, you still would have made money from here to here, right? Or here to here. It wouldn't have mattered. You had hours to figure it out. The beauty is it continued to go in that way. The trend was your friend. It stayed below VWAP, stayed below the 200. Hell, it stayed below the 55, the 21, and the 9 until in here. I mean, it just all day long. And if you guys use the shedding technique, and I know exactly for a fact I said yesterday that if you guys get into a scalp that turns into a beautiful trade, to use the shedding technique. Didn't I say that?
Yes, sir.
So if that's the case and you guys use the shedding technique, you still would have had 10% remaining until it broke what?
VWAP.
There you go. And if you bought it up here and you guys already know the rule that VWAP will follow it all the way down, you still would have made money. Even if this would have been your last runner, you would have still made, this would have been your profit. It's for days like today. If I was for days,
You do.
Okay, so we know Coach not only teaches us how to make money, he also teaches us how to protect our capital. So, protect your stocks now is the next one on the docket. We're going to welcome in. Hey, Bart. Hold on one second. Bart, how are you? Hello? Bart, you there?
You do?
Alrighty. We're going to go ahead on. Everybody, do me a favor and mute your mics if you're not speaking. That way we don't get a bunch of background noise playing through the video. Thank you.
It's for days like today. If I was an NVIDIA holder, I am protected. Be careful on NVIDIA right here. You guys are all rolling onto a ginormous double bottom, right?
Exactly.
In fact, I'm going to put this up on the big screen. Yeah, right here. You can see it was at 122.70. So anywhere around this area, this is a bounce. Anywhere around 123 is a bounce. So be careful, right?
Yes, sir.
NVIDIA down 13.5% today. Listen, this is why I always tell you guys, right? We take our money. We take our money. We don't need to hold that overnight, obviously, if you're into some sort of swing. The other thing that I always talk about, and I swear I'm the only one that's even saying it out here. By the way, I've been doing this 33 years. I've watched every TikToker, YouTube personality, every person ever do this. I have never, ever heard one time ever anybody talking about if you guys are holding long-term trades to hedge that by having some puts or vice versa the others. I have never heard another soul ever say that on long positions to hedge and protect. It's for days like today. If I was an NVIDIA holder, I am protected with that insurance that I paid, which was covered calls. I collected premiums, and if I hold, I always have puts, don't I?
Use the money from the covered calls to buy the puts.
That's right. And now you're in a spread. But don't I say it every day, 4 days like today? But I have never, ever, not one time, ever heard anybody else ever say it before, which is crazy. And that tells you why you guys are in the right place at the right time. Appreciate you. Love your faces. Alex, you got your hand up. Go ahead.
That is an amazing video. They are doing some amazing work on these videos. Coach, thank you for all the tutelage that you give us on a daily basis. This is considered like a study hall of sorts. Okay, so you know what, Mark? I'm going to play this one again because this was phenomenal. Again, shout out to you for doing this Q&A with David, and shout out to David Giannis. Yeah, that was a good one.
Kind of turned that into an interview, huh?
Yeah, it was good. I loved it. But we literally just watched David or heard David give us a master class on Saturday. So you're kind of get a taste of a little bit of what we just got through listening to. But this is more about David and kind of how he got into trading and what makes him tick, basically.
Mm-hmm. 75% on Apple.
You go, David. Is there any reason to get out of that trade? I don't see any reason yet. Do you? I sure don't.
No, sir.
How about that coach's 2-minute EWO strategies? Does it work or not, David?
I would say so.
The video actually mentions David, whose voice you just now heard. The video, I believe, said 350,000 since you started instituting this strategy, and you might want to add another 100K to that because that's where he's at now. Is that correct? I'm not exaggerating. I think I've heard you say before where you were at. But
officially over 450. I need to do the math this week, but I know for sure over 450.
And that's just by employing a simple strategy and testing the strategy, and he proved it to himself that it works over and over and over. That's what he's been doing, living, breathing Apple 2-minute EWO.
And 2.5 years ago, I would spend all day in the room making $1 or $2 per trade. Sometimes I get a runner of like $6 or $7, and then I'd have a loser of 1 or 2. But it was just constant, over and over. It builds up your trust in what you're seeing because now you know the mechanics, you know how to get in and out. You've already shown that you have the patience to wait, and it works.
So what you're saying is you didn't come in with $50,000 in account and just start throwing it at Apple? Did you have a big account, David, when you started, like 50,000, and just start trading Apple? Is that how you'll be in all that money over the last 2 years?
Nope. What a lot of people don't know is I had a margin account in Robinhood. Didn't trash it, but didn't want to take the risk of losing that, so I left that account alone and I moved in $1,500 into Webull to kind of replicate what Coach was doing with the screen with Webull. I liked the mechanics a lot better than Robinhood for the type of trading that we do in the group. So that all started with $1,500, and of course, even though I moved in the $1,500, I still took it down to about 1,200 maybe before I kind of started really buckling down and paying attention to everything I was supposed to be doing. So it was a long, hard road.
Yeah, so folks don't come in here with a lot of money because you don't need that to be successful. David's a living proof of it, you know, so be successful. If you cannot trade little trades and be successful making a dollar or two or $5 or $10 here and there with a little bit of money, you will not be successful throwing a lot of money at it. It takes pennies to make dollars, dollars to make bigger bills. Be patient. Your account will grow day by day.
Question for David. David, do you ever trade anything else?
No. In the past probably year and a half, I think I've traded 2 hot stock picks, but it was basically they were in the same exact criteria for entry that I look for on Apple every day. And I was like, they're small enough and I can buy a whole bunch of them. And so I was working on some trading in the afternoon because I typically only trade in the morning. And then I force myself out of the room so that I don't overtrade.
Is Apple that consistent? Like you see entries there daily?
Yeah. So in the Apple chat, I post everything.
I was in the little girl's room. That part needs repeating because that was huge, Mark, what you just said. This is why people fail trading. Not because they don't have the mechanics, not because they're not taught the proper technique. It's because of the patience.
Everything every single day, every single trade I take. And of course, there's sometimes where I take losers, but I maintain my losers by having stop losses in place that I'm comfortable with, and with the track overtrade.
Is Apple that consistent? Like you see entries there daily?
Yeah, so in the Apple chat, I post everything every single day, every single trade I take. And of course, there's sometimes where I take losers, but I maintain my losers by having stop losses in place that I'm comfortable with. And with the track record that I've seen, not only in the back testing, the amount of back testing that I've done, but the live testing that I've done for myself in the past 2.5 years, I trust what I've seen in the past. And I know that we're technically playing a game of numbers. So if I've seen a moment in time that creates money, I'm going to take that every single time because I know that there's more likelihood that I have a chance to collect some money on the way up or down.
Not to distract you, David, because Apple's continuing to climb, and I don't want to cost you money by distracting you. But on YouTube Live, you can wait to answer this if you like. Till Destiny Do Us Part over on our YouTube Live tab says, David, what did you trade when you were trading with a very small account?
I share a list of small stocks, and it's an accumulation of just smaller stocks that are known. It's a mix of smaller stocks that were what we called the Jimmy stocks for the longest time, but they eventually transitioned into what everybody knows as the hot stock picks now. And so I had a list of about 60 something, 70 something that I would just keep an eye on, but each day I would pick a handful of, say, 5 that were in the same price range. And that way I knew what ranges I was up against, how much potential money I could make, or what kind of ranges as far as I needed for stop losses. Instead of jumping from a $5 stock to a $100 stock where my stop losses need to be completely different, my turbo trader needs to be set up completely different. If I stay in a group of stocks, I can build consistency a lot faster.
So you became familiar with them, how they lived and breathed and moved, right?
Yep. And I have that list, and I share it in the Apple chat. I share it in the Saturday classes. So that is one of the benefits. And so Saturday classes are another thing. If you can't be in here with us all day, well, VIP Gold, you get everything recorded. Plus you have Saturday classes. So those Saturday classes are the time where people can reach out and say, hey, you know what? I don't get to interact when I'm at work because I've only got one earbud in and I've got a damn boss in the background that'll grill my ass. So you can say, hey, you know what? This is a payment in my future. Can I try it for a month and see how it goes? Yeah, that's definitely something possible. And there's so many resources in there that a lot of people are not taking advantage of. So that's why I try to point it out. Everything is recorded. You can go back and spend a whole weekend just concentrating on topics. And that's what I was doing myself. I was in the group very early on with Coach, and there wasn't a lot of video resources. We were actually making those videos in the beginning of the group. And so I would replay the videos just to kind of hear Coach's words and, hey, you know what? what, here's a golden, this trade looks golden. He used to say that a lot. And so I would look at the time and I would look at the chart and what did he see? Why the hell did he say that this looked good? A lot of times I couldn't ask him in the lives because he was of course doing live trading and I didn't feel like interrupting. And back then I didn't speak as much, but I could jot
This is
down.
a very good technique for those of you that have trouble with watching the videos and aren't really getting them. Do what David did, emulate him, not in his trading, but in his study habits, in his back testing. Go back and watch the videos and see, what did Mark see? What did Coach see? What did Government Cheese see? What did Dawn see? Why did she make money in Meta that day? What was she looking at? And a lot of times when I do stuff like that, I'll tell you what I did in the aftermarket so you can go back and see why I did that. Mark does the same thing. So do that for yourself. You owe it to yourself to make this work, and that's how you do it.
Down the time and the coach said that this one looked awesome, so I go back and look at the charts at night and you know what, this time he said it. Okay, then I look at the next time he said it, and these two charts look almost identical. What the hell happened at that same exact time? Once you start piecing those moments together, you can start looking when they're being created and look back in history, and you'll see that those same moments he's discovered that he's pointed out to you live were very good moments in other stocks in the past, and you could have
shout out to me. I see you down there. Welcome, Kekdom. Pappy D, what's going on? Hey, Coco, how are ya? Yeah, we're just gonna be here an hour. Hopefully you'll feel better, honey. Don't forget the lemon and ginger. Mikey D, sweet tea. What's up, brother?
same exact moments if you were sitting there waiting for that moment to happen instead of chasing somebody else call out.
Over on our YouTube live, Burton asked a question. How much time do you actually spend in a day with trades and monitoring, especially when you're starting out?
So in the beginning, I was lucky enough to have broken my foot. And so I had the luxury of time. And so I was able to sit in the room all day long and just watch a few stocks. So I know not a lot of people have that luxury, but if you can do those replay features and identify the better trade, then you can see them when they're happening live. And you walk into the room and you look at the chart and you say, oh, it looks like trash. I don't need to touch it. That's a discipline you work on. If you walk into the room and the chart looks like, oh, you know what? If I give it a couple of minutes, it might meet my criteria. Then you sit down and you wait for the trade to happen. Don't force trade. So one of the biggest disciplines as a trader is being able to wait for right moments. Coach talks about the A+ setups. So there's hundreds, thousands of ways to trade. But what the thing you need to do is concentrate on a particular one or two styles that you want to work out, and then try to replicate those trades to figure out what type of trader you are. Not everybody's going to be a scalper. Not everybody's going to be a 2-minute EWO player. So if you have a lot of time on your hands, you can work on different styles of trade and figure out which one it is. If you're a worker where you're out there at work all day and you only have sporadic times to look at it, I wouldn't even be looking for trading. I would be doing replay features in the evening where you can have the time to spend and watch it, identify those moments, and then that way you're trained. By the time you really go into real trading, you're the one just looking for those moments, and you can pop in whenever you want. You don't have to, oh, did I miss this and did I miss that? No, I'm waiting for this to happen. If it doesn't look like it's going to happen, I can walk away, wait for the next day. I don't need to be forcing trades.
Thank you.
Yep.
Where can you go and talk to successful people like this and ask questions and get them answered?
I spend time in here all the time. I'm still in here every day possible, even when I'm on vacation. My wife's kind of nudging me like, we've got stuff going on, and I'm like, well, I want to be in here. I feel like I'm missing the group because there are people very successful in this group. You don't very often get to sit in a room and discuss topics with millionaires and people that are very, very successful in all different walks of life. We're in a trading group, but the part of the group that I like is there's so many different people in the group that are knowledgeable in all different sectors. I'm still in this group to this day because I catch things every weekend. We had a Saturday class the other day where another gentleman noticed something that now I'm digging into, and it's like, okay, well, I want to see exactly how this correlates because it sort of made sense to me, but I want to go back and start looking at it. And so if it's going to be beneficial, then we can start digging into it more. But I want to make sure that anything that is of benefit to the group, we're going to strive to at least acknowledge it and incorporate it if we can. So Coach is very open. 2 years ago, he didn't talk about the EMAs. It took months and months of taking trades, performing trades, seeing how trades looked differently with the EMAs, and he understood that even though he's a wizard in can interpret levels and candles and channels and everything. He knows that there's people in the group that are not at his level. And so he was understanding to that fact and says, you know what, it is beneficial for beginners because it's a great visual tool. So he understands that if we are using the tools properly, they don't overcloud the screen. You don't get that technical paralysis. If you're using it correctly, it's beneficial for you. So you don't want to just cloud the screen. So that's why he says, come in with a clean cup and then kind of start working and implementing one thing at a time.
Not to interrupt you, David, but Apple may be getting a little heavy on the vine there. Don't want you to miss out on taking action
Oh yeah,
if
well,
you need to, sir.
I just took one off the table and I've got 2 left. And so with the 2 left that I have, we're at about 77%. And with just those 2 contracts, its open P&L is about almost $400.
There we go. See, now I'm trying to go back up there, kind of a little bit of a pullback, right? This is where your education and training that David's talking about comes from, is, you know, not freaking out just because you see a red candle all of a sudden, right? You have to evaluate the big picture, what's going on, trust your levels, trust your indicators, trust your training and experience. While David's here, you've got a few seconds here. If you want to ask David a question in the chat there, I'll relate to him. You got something real quick you want to ask him? He has to concentrate on his active trades also. Type it in your chat box. I'll pass that question on to him.
Can we ask David, what's the new Apple product?
I'm not a news trader. I don't pay attention to anything other than the charts at that moment. If there's a big news event that's taking place throughout the day, then I am a little bit more cautious, like the FMO speakers or whatever the hell they call them. If there's a news conference during the day, but other than that, I'm reacting to what's on the screen. So I watch out for, what is it called, the shift change because of the potential volume. I look out for news events and speakers during the day, but other than that, I don't pay attention to none of that. And I'm not an earnings trader, so I don't worry about that. It doesn't matter what happened for earnings the day before because I'm just relying on what's happening in front of me.
Ken, you have your hand up. Question or comment?
Yeah, David, I presume you started off with stocks. How long was it after you started with stocks that you started going into options?
So I had been trading personally for myself about 2.5, close to 3 years before I met Coach. And so I was already very familiar with stocks and options, and I was doing swing trading. And so when I joined the group, because my time availability changed,
He just said something that resonated with me. I'm very similar in that I don't really look for pay attention to a lot of catalysts as much as I do the screen, you know, because whatever's going on in the world, the stock market is going to react to it anyway. So as long as you're good at watching that screen and what the candles are doing and what behavior is happening on the screen, you should be able to navigate through it without being privy to it. It's kind of good to have a heads up, but if you don't have a heads up or you don't watch earnings or news, you know, clippings and things like that, you need to be able to react to what's happening in the trade the trade, right? So that resonated with me when he said it, because I'm a lot like that.
I felt that my trading was changing because I was doing more of the scalping and the real quick plays. So what I ended up doing, that's also one of the reasons why I moved from my Robinhood account over into Webull, because Robinhood was set up very nicely and it's functional and it worked great for swing trades where it's not so critical about getting in and out at the exact penny. It was great for what I was using it for, but when I saw that I was trying to trade options, I guess a quicker trade, I didn't like the mechanics. So I moved over the money into the Webull, and so with that $1,500 account down to about the $1,200 range, I still tried to do the bigger options that I was used to. But I learned very quickly that one option in, say, Apple or Google or any of the big boys was putting me down past that threshold of the 3% for the day. And so, of course, like I said, I wasn't perfect in the beginning. I still struggled where I was trying to follow the rules, but then I'm thinking to myself, well, how the hell am I supposed to follow these rules? I can't even buy one contract. Well, dumbass, pay attention to the rules. That doesn't mean break the rules. It means figure out how to maintain the rules. So I pulled myself back into the tiny little stocks and traded DCL and American Airlines, Robinhood, eBay, Roku, all these different tiny little stocks. The benefit of trading those small stocks, it was a big movement difference. I was used to seeing the candles dance around hundreds of dollars because I was trading options, and now I'm seeing things move pennies at a time. And so you'll hear some of us say, well, once I got the hang of it, it seems like things kind of slowed down. So for me, I was able to figure out that the way things were kind of trading because because everything was so slow compared to what I was trading before. And so I think that was very beneficial for myself. And so, like I said, I was trading these small stocks for months. I was probably doing 8 months of probably 90% of my trades, or maybe even 95% of my trades were on small stock. And I occasionally was doing options in some of those smaller stocks because I could still buy multiples right at the money. I could see the next step, which was the mechanics of the options and getting back into this style of trading.
Thank you. See, Apple's getting a little heavy on the vine again.
Even if these last two go back to break even, I'm still up probably $2,000 for the day. So I can let you kind of sit there and fester and see what the hell they're gonna do and not really panic because I've already locked in a bunch. And so it's a lot harder if you only had one contract. I know if I only had one contract, there's no way I'd be still sitting in one of them. That's just the way I am. But I had 30 of them and I was able to shave off on the way up, and now I have 2 left that are still making me money. Now, do I wish I could be at the point where I was holding all 30? Hell yeah. But I know the style of trading I'm doing is building consistency. So in 6 months from now, I might be doing a consistent 60 contracts. And by now I would be holding, say, 10 or 15 of them. I know that that's going to happen eventually if I stay within positions that I'm comfortable with. I don't want to take that next step and play differently. So I have done that throughout the process of the past 2 years where I think I'm ready for the next level. And then I start emotionally trading because mentally I still know that it's a larger amount, so I pull myself back. I did that plenty of times throughout the past 2 years, and then I kind of tucked my tail for a couple of weeks, and then okay, you know what? Let me see if I can feel it again. Let me see if I'm ready for it, and then I go back into the bigger positions. If I can handle it and it seems like it's working, then I stay with that position. But I've done it a few times throughout the past 2 years.
Over on YouTube Live, do you trade in the pre-market, David?
In the past 2 years, probably less than 5 times. Because of family requirements, I'm not available in the pre-market. So I spend my time and resources into the open, and I'm usually here with the group for at least the first couple of hours, and then I dedicate my afternoons to helping people in the one-on-ones.
David, it's greatly appreciated you sharing your experiences. Apple is getting a little heavy on the vine, like you said, and approaching some indicators.
One last question for David, if I may.
Yes, go ahead.
Hey, Mac. So, but you do enter trades right at the market open, yeah? The ones today you got in probably around the 6:30, 6:35 mark.
Eastern time? Yeah. So I got in because in the way that we run the Apple chat, I typically have the levels that we display for the market trading ideas. So I have those levels. And then what I'm looking for at that open is, are we breaking that level? For a beginner, that's what I was doing all the time. I was just looking for the break of the channel. And then immediately when it went in my direction, I would collect money and get the hell out of it. That's all I was doing because I know that the first few minutes is so very volatile. So now here it is 2 years later where I've graduated to the level where I'm holding a lot longer, but I didn't trade the first 30 minutes, or I tried not to trade the first 30 minutes for months. I avoided the first 30 minutes because I had gotten burned so many times in the first 30 minutes within the first couple of months where I forced myself to walk my dog, or I say walk my dog, but since I had the broken foot, it was hilarious walking the dogs around the block, but that's different. So I would spend my time away from the screen. I still had one earbud in, listening to coach, and I just was not available to trade because I know, since I'm human, if I'm sitting in front of my laptop, I'm trading. That's just the way it is. So I had to physically do something to break that habit. So walking the dogs kept me occupied. Like I said, now the one-on-ones actually help me because I'm a notorious over trader. Like I said, I'll sit in the damn room all day long and trade and trade and trade and trade. And sometimes you just get fatigued. It's mentally stressed. It's mentally, I guess, draining because you have to be on top of your game. Imagine football players in the pro level, or imagine, what is it called? Basketball players in the pro level. Any type of very top tier. They're zoned in. You see them go on the court, they're zoned in. So I feel that same exact way when I get into the trading section where I'm sitting in front of my laptop. I'm just waiting for my moment to happen. Like the athletes, they're waiting for the buzzer to go off so that they can enter into their game. I'm ready and I'm waiting and I don't know. I get amped up.
Thanks, man.
Yep.
Thank you for that, David.
Well, so Apple is sitting right above 244. So if we break the 21 and 244 at the same time, I'm going to shave one more there and I'll leave one runner. So my last runner will be basically to VWAP, and then it's a shelf right there at 243.50 area also. I have a game plan for getting in, and then I have game plans for getting out. And then, of course, today I have a time in the morning, so I'm going to be here for a little bit longer. Everything still looks good. I don't need to panic. I'm still up 68% in these 2 runners. on Apple.
You go.
Well, that was amazing. Cool thing is, and when David does his Saturday classes, we really, really, really get like almost like a one-on-one with him, because we get to watch what trades he went in. He shows you exactly what he was looking for, what made him do what he was, what position the indicators were at. You know what I mean? It's amazing to be able to sit there every Saturday, which we just got out of like an hour ago, and do that. So, if you guys haven't gotten yourself a gold membership yet, you might want to check into it. I mean, just for the newsletter and David's classes alone, not to mention the breakout rooms, you get so much extra training than trying to go it on your own. You get a lot more interaction and a lot more intimate chances to ask questions of people who are knowledgeable about the trading, So it's not just Coach wants more money, it's you get more training, and he can't just give that away for free. He's a businessman. He's got to feed his family too. So if he has knowledge and people that are able to give you that knowledge, and there's time there, then that is something that you got to pay for. If you don't see value in it, don't pay for it. But if you see value in it, which you should, because all of us who have gotten the training have either turning the corner, or already, where we all are trying to get to. So, the proof is in the pudding, gang. Let's move on. Let's see what else we got over here. That looks good. All right. Let's see what Coach is talking about here. Is this frozen or something? Okay, that's weird. What the hell was that? Let's go with the next one down. All right, so this one is Millionaire Tax Hack. All right, what better time to watch Millionaire Tax Hack than tax time, right? So let's go ahead. I'm going to share my screen. Once again, shout out to all you guys down there. Coco, again, I hope you feel better, baby. And those of you that are filing in, don't forget to smash that like button so we can continue to get Coach towards that 15,000 subscribers. All right. Millionaire Tax Hack coming up.
But worse, you are going to pay so much more in taxes on the profit you make off of SPY versus SPX. I cannot stress that enough to all of you, especially all my multi-millionaires in this room. When you guys are making and doing these types of trades and you're profitable, flip from SPY to SPX. Massive hundreds of thousands of dollars worth to flip. I cannot stress that enough.
Why is there a tax advantage, Coach?
The way that the trust is set up, if you want me to dive deeper, let me ask my friend Google. He knows much more than I do. All my millionaires in the room. If you're trading SPX, now I want you guys to remember, let's say I traded SPY all year and I make $1 million. You're going to pay 40% capital gains tax, depending on your area and all the other things and your accountant and creativeness and all that stuff. 40%. Boom. You just lost 400,000, right? If you trade SPX, 60% of it gets treated as long-term capital gains. Guess what? That's 15%. The other 40% is taxed at short-term capital gains of 40%. That means $600,000 will be taxed at 15% versus 40% of your $1 million. 600. Here, let me help you out with my Flint education. You're talking the difference of $90,000 will be taxed on that 600 versus 240 for a difference of $150,000
Wow.
per million, right? So some people in here, right, who's now doing $1 million a month, that's $150,000 a month I'm going to save you by listening to the sound of my voice. That's what you pay me for, right? So the fees, what are we at? 1,000 SPX, $300 round trip. So every time I click buy, $156. I click sell, $156. If I do 100 SPX contracts, it is 119. Every click, I'm saving 80. Every click. If I do that 10 times today, that's $800 difference in fees, right?
You see these big numbers and you're like, what's $500? But it all adds up.
Trade 10 SPX, it's going to move identical to 100 SPY. It's just in your head, you don't think it is. But I'm telling you it is. Oh my gosh, I only have 10 and it's doing that. Yeah, it's because 10 is equivalent to 100 SPY contracts, just like 100 SPX is equivalent to 1,000 SPY. I mean, it moves quick, but so does 1,000 SPY. That's, 2,000 every tick, every move, basically, right? I have a lot of people literally making millions in here, and this is going to save you guys a ton of money.
That was a good one. Gotta admit, you got listen, especially when you start making more money, you are going to need tax breaks, right? Take a look at these thumbnails. Aren't these thumbnails fantastic? Shout out to the media team, man. These things are looking fabuloso.
Jackal, go ahead. You got your hand up.
Hey, coach.
Stop trading like this. Right? So I'm sure this is going to have some tidbits in here for those of us who have had issues in the past. Mark McSee is the parrot. Is this the parrot episode? Oh my God.
AmericanDreamTrading.com.
.com. Stop trading like this is on tap. Let's do it.
Jackal, go ahead. You got your hand up.
Hey, coach. I remember you mentioned not to do covered calls when there's earnings.
Yep.
So I think, as you maybe recall, I'm doing Tesla. So this Wednesday, I believe they have them. So I
Correct.
should do it
After
all
hours.
week. I should just skip all week, or just see if I can make a couple of bucks today and tomorrow.
Well, if you're going to do it, it better be same day. You don't want to hold through earnings, right? Never want to hold through the earnings. So that day, I don't want nothing to do with that at all. And the week of, I'm extra cautious. I try not to pinch myself, right? Because if Tesla would have had great news going up to earnings, and then I would get stuck, and you're like, well, what are you supposed to do now? Because I'd have to roll up or roll out, and then I'd lose money. And then if Tesla had bad news, well, then it goes downside, and now I just paid for something that I shouldn't have because, right, it was going to go down. So I try not to screw around with it at all during that time. So, but what I'm always doing, if I'm holding Tesla or something else, right, in my paper trading account, because I can't discuss real accounts, what I would be doing is I would be hedging it. So if Tesla was down today, I'm making all my money today on those puts. If Tesla's up, I'm buying calls. All I'm doing is hedging it. I'm just making the money while I'm waiting. And if you guys are not capable, and nothing against you, but if you're not day traders and that's not your thing, wait it out. I don't want to do that, but I still always have a hedge. I just won't have covered calls, but I'll still have my puts. I always have my puts against my longs. There's never a time ever. I just won't do a covered call, but I will always have my short side to cover it. Make sense?
Definitely. I
Yep.
seem to be doing better with.
You think
covered
you'll
calls.
always have cover call? I mean, you think you'll always have cover calls or no? I think so.
Cash secure puts
Good.
and day trading.
Some people, I mean, listen, it's beautiful. I tell you guys, it's a millionaire secret, right? It's just beautiful, man. I told you, ride the waves. You want volatility. You want the stock up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Who cares? You want that. That's how you make your premiums.
Yeah.
Tesla, though, Tesla's the hardest one to do it on. So if you're doing it with Tesla, you better be really good. Tesla's the #1. Tesla and Netflix are the hardest ones you could ever do covered calls and cash secure puts with. Ever.
Since I started with you, you've been preaching, and I'm finally trying it this year. And I seem to be doing better than day trading. Maybe I'll just stick with that for a while.
Well, for sure. And it'll help you pad that account too, right? It'll help build up the account. Absolutely. I told you guys when I first started here, right? 2.5 years ago, the second I turned everything on, I said, and I quote, I could sell my cash secured put and my covered call videos for $1,000 each. And everybody's like, ha ha ha, look at this new guy. He's trying to sell these memberships. I said, I'm telling you right now for a fact, my covered calls and cash secured training alone is worth everything we do. I could literally shut this entire thing down, and all I did in this room is covered calls and cash secured puts. You know how many millionaires I would have in this room? Do you know how many just millionaires I would attract from that alone? Because I can get you 40 to 2,000% per year.
That ain't no joke. It's kept me afloat this entire last year. Thank you.
You're welcome. And I mean per year, not forever, per year. Josh said, well, what do I do if I'm in my... Josh said, well, what do I do if I'm in my paper trading and I have 2 red days in a row? You're done. You don't get to keep paper trading. You're done. The word trading is now not in your vocabulary. You no longer get to do any of that. You must now only train. You don't get to click the button. There's no clickety click for you. That means you coming back and all you're going to do now is listen to what we're saying in the room, why we're saying it. Now your hand's going to start to cramp because you should be doing nothing but journaling. You don't get to clickety click. You're done. You're done. There's no trading for you, even in a fake account. You're done. You need to listen more. So that comes down to train more, trade less. I cannot stress this enough. When you guys get in those streaks, trade exactly the way you have been. Don't veer off. The market is going to be up and down.
Dude, I'm telling you, like with what I'm doing with Meta right now, I am getting to the mindset where I don't have to trade every day. If that's how it's going to be, looking for setups with Meta, the days that Meta doesn't give it to me, don't freaking trade. Don't give anything back. Shit. If I have 2 or 3 days a week where I make $300, $400, $500 in a day in a trade, and I do that 3 times a week, that's like $1,200 to $1,500 a week, only trading a few times. So why subject yourself to trading all day? And I know it's addictive, but that's just something you got to fight. It is what it is. You got to get your mentality right. Remember, patience and discipline. If you know the technical stuff behind this and you know what a double top looks like, you know how to trade a double top, but you don't wait for the double top to happen, or you don't get in it when you do see it happen, that's a mental thing. That's not a mechanics thing. So get your mind right and make sure you got to fight the urge to trade all the time and try to make trades happen. Wait for the setups. Develop your patience and discipline muscles.
None of that shit matters. Don't get in your own ways. Continue to trade the way you've been trading and you will be rewarded, because obviously that was working for you. Now's not the time. I'm going to mix it up. No, you're not. Stop that bullshit. You don't need to mix it up. You're doing incredible. You're making $1 million a month. You don't need to mess with it, man. The recipe is amazing. You start mixing that thing up, you're going to blow it up, and then you're going to get in your own head, and then you're going to get into a slump. Well, guess what? That whole time you could have had another $1 million month, and then another $1 million month, and then and then another, and now a $2 million month. All you had to do was stay the course, consistently do exactly what you were doing. That's why the journal is so important. That's why I say, even when you're successful, right, that journal is just as important, if not lot more to make sure you understand why you are doing what you're doing. What were you doing? How did you get there? What do you need to do? How do you stay present? You need to stay the course, stay present. What got you there? That's what you got to stay in. You got to live in that spot, because if you have 10 great days in the hot zone, might pay for the next 90 days where you're not. Because you guys know when you are hot in the market and it's going your way, and because here at American Dream Trading, we don't cap our profits, only our losses, it's unlimited reward. Your 10 days of unlimited reward can seriously go from, you know, oh, I just only intended to make 500 today. 10 days later, you're like, holy shit, I made $30,000. Because we don't cap the upside, only the downside. Stay in the zone, stay focused, and for God's sakes, use the strategies that I train you on every day. They work. You hear it. It's consistent. We have the world's greatest traders, period, point blank, end of discussion. I don't give a crap about anybody and what they're doing. We have the best traders in the world at American Dream Trading. That's it. Bar none, like without even question at all. It's because of the rules we have in place. You can duplicate them. Everybody across the board, you guys can duplicate them. Stay the course. Love your faces.
Vegan Knowledge says she can hear me before I say, haha, that's so funny. Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and end it here. Just wanted to get an hour in. I love watching these videos just to reiterate the mental of a lot of this. You know, when you get into a zone where you can't seem to knock yourself out of it, two things. One is have the discipline to, you know, well, one is have patience with yourself. Give yourself grace, right? Because everybody has losing days, losing trades, losing days. Everybody has red trades, red days. But if you let it perpetuate and don't take steps to fix it, like if, you know, you don't go to some type of therapy, if you're sick, if you don't go to the doctor, if you don't do something holistically to help yourself, you're just going to continue to be sick, right? Well, the same thing is true for trading. If you continue to make the same stupid mistakes, nothing's ever going to change, and you're going to quit, and you're going to blame coach and the group. That didn't work. It didn't work because you didn't have the patience to let it work. You didn't have the discipline not to trade when you were doing bad, or not to trade when you didn't see the proper setup. You didn't have the patience to sit in the trade just a little bit longer when it was telling you there's no need to get out. So you work on the patience and the discipline. Everything else that you learn in these videos is just golden. If you're a patient and disciplined person and you put this type of education in your lap, what's going to happen? You're going to kill it. You're going to do well, right? So that's all you have to do. You're going to crush it. You're going to do well. Look at Government Cheese. He's a patient and disciplined person in his regular life because he started how many businesses and they've succeeded. So he applied it to trading and look what happened. Look at Palm. He's a patient and he has patience and discipline. Look what happened when he applied it to trading. So if you don't have those two qualities, practice them, cultivate them, do things that help you grow patience, like killing two birds with one stone. Fasting. That's something that I do in my regular life that helps me to be disciplined and have patience in trading.
Why are you so mean to birds?
Birds?
You said kill two birds with one stone.
I know. Jen hates it when I say that.
Well, if it's chicken, it's
She
okay.
hates
Eat
it.
them.
Or there's more than one way to skin a cat, especially since we have cats, right?
Yeah. 101 uses for a dead cat. After you skin it.
Mark, I want you to know, man, I'm getting to a point where I'm really looking forward to trying to come over there with you guys in futures. I'm getting better and better at what I'm doing over here, and that's what I wanted to do, right?
Well, here's a news
So-
flash for you that I'm typing as we speak. We are having for
What?
futures, paid futures members only, a Sunday night live Zoom call starting when the market opens at 6 p.m. Eastern time.
Okay.
Where we'll be able to, do
Nice.
call outs like gold or talk about our levels. Again, not an inducement to buy or say to get in or get out, but just talk about levels. And
Right.
instead of typing in live and live chat, it's just a test. It may be the first and only time.
Okay.
We don't know yet, but if it was up to them, we'd have one every night. But I got to have a life sometime.
Right.
So,
Well, yeah, Coach says he wanted to start doing live Zoom calls with the future,
during the
so
day,
I'm
yeah,
excited.
right.
I'll be there.
All right. Well, if you're going to be
Yeah.
around, it'll be in the futures newsletter you're about to receive here in a couple of minutes as soon as I finish typing this up. So check your futures newsletter channel and read that newsletter. There you go.
You guys heard it here first.
For paid
right? So,
futures
Sunday
memberships.
Night.
So if you want to join us
So if
Sunday
you're not a
night,
paid
you can go
futures
there and
member-
grab one of them futures membership over at AmericanDreamTrading.com.
All right. Don't take over my show with your bullshit, dude. It's just,
Or
don't
go
do
to
it.
AmericanDreamTrading.com and buy any membership. But I'm kind of partial to those futures
True.
myself.
Gee, why would that be?
Because actually you should start with VIP Gold is where you should start.
Yeah, for sure.
Get that
you get a
pre-market.
lot of basic stuff in there.
Yep.
Get in the pre-market, get that basic training down.
Well,
then
look for the
take it
link.
over
You'll
to
have to go
futures.
into Discord and look in the futures channel, and there's a Zoom link channel there. All you have to do is click and join like you always do.
All right, way to go. Mark, thanks for coming and hanging out with us today. It's been fun.
Yep.
Everybody down there in the chat, thank you for being here. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Norman, thank you for the tip. I appreciate that, brother. If you would like to join American Dream Trading, the link was pinned to the top of the live chat, but it also is in the description of the video along with the tip jar. If you feel like I did a good job hosting you today, throw something in there. Other than that, please make sure that you guys take advantage of all the learning that we have to offer. Futures, we are live 3 times a day. Coach is live from 9 to 11, Monday through Friday. Mark comes on with the futures from 2 to 4, and then I'll be here to just say, hey, what happened in the market today with the aftermarket live at 5 every day, Monday through Friday. Mark, I'm looking forward to Sunday, man. I'll see you there.
Hey, do me a favor, will you? Tell that Aviga Dollar she's my favorite.
Mark, I'll tell you what.
She already knows she's
How
my
about
favorite,
I do
but
this?
I'd like to have you tell her. I know she's.
How about I tell her this?
Please follow the rules. Nobody go rogue. Some of the rules that we have to and live and die by in here is do not lose more than 1 to 3% of your total account value in any given day. Make sure you have stop losses on each and every trade, regardless of shares and or options. Make sure you guys are practicing small base hits. Don't go for home runs. Allow the runners to run and stop out the losers. If you're a new trader, make sure you are paper trading using a simulated trading system such as Webull or some of the other ones that are out there. If you are an expert trader, please make sure you also are being careful the first 3 minutes and the last 8 to 9 minutes of the day. Those are the absolute most volatile times in the entire market. Also, if you're a newer trader, please don't trade in the first 30 minutes or the last hour of the day. Those are the most dangerous times.